Hello! Today we are going to talk about backups. It is important to note that there are two main types of backups. The first type is commonly known as a snapshot or manual backup, and it requires a manual action from an Adobe Commerce Cloud admin. The second type is automatic backups, but we will firstly start by looking at snapshots. So snapshots, as mentioned already, are manual backups, and in the Adobe Commerce Cloud documentation you can find both terms. And it is essential to understand that these backups are only applicable to integration environments, which are platform as a service environments, and we cannot create snapshots or so-called manual backups on staging and production environments because those are infrastructure as a service environments. And what we actually mean by backups and snapshots, what they include. Backup or snapshot is a complete backup of environment data that includes all persistent data from running services like, for example, MySQL database and any files that is stored on the mounted volumes. So of course it depends on the project's configuration, but out of the box the mounted volumes are, for example, var, pubmedia or aptc. It doesn't include code, since the code is already stored in a Git repository, and also we cannot download a snapshot copy. We can only manage snapshots by using the Cloud Console or Magento Cloud CLI, which we'll actually do in a second. Alright, and I'm in the Cloud Console in the environment called Develop, which we will use to create our snapshot firstly in the Cloud Console, and then we will switch to Magento Cloud CLI and see the available commands that are for our disposal. Here on this overview, you can see there is this interesting field called last backup, which indicates the date of the last backup that was made on this particular environment. And if you want to create a snapshot, you can click on those three dots here and select an option called backup. And here we can see a confirmation window with an interesting option called create live backup. This feature can be extremely helpful as it allows you to create a snapshot without any downtime to your environment. However, it is important to note that using this option may result in inconsistent data, since some data may be modified while the snapshot is being created. Therefore, if you require a snapshot with the most up-to-date data, it's better to avoid using this option. Right now we will not select this option. We will select this option when we will run a snapshot creation from Magento Cloud CLI. So we will just confirm it and click on the yes button. And here we are redirected to a view with backups. So here we have a history of backups that was also made on this particular environment, which is developed. So you can see, of course, like logs from it. Right now we see that this particular activity is in progress, and also there are backups, like in this tab you can see all the backups that are stored also for this environment. Right now we do not have any environments backups because I deleted that before recording this video, but once the activity is done, our backup should be visible here. Alright, and after a couple of minutes we should see that the new backup has been just created and there is this ID of this backup. If we click on three dots here, we should be able to restore this particular backup or delete it. Also in the history, the activity should be completed with the success status. If we click on it, we can see small, like 2 lines of logs that the developer was backed and also the ID of a backup. So that would be all here. Let's now switch to our shell and let's run Magento Cloud Snapshots command. This will give us a list of snapshots that are in this develop environment. If you want to specify like another environment, you want to see snapshots, for example, on feature XYZ, you can always use the option -a, which basically works for every single command in Magento Cloud CLI. So if we just specify this will mean that we can see all of the snapshots from feature XYZ environment. And here we have a list with the information when the snapshot was created, the snapshot ID, and if this can be, if this snapshot is restorable. And if we click and select the help option, we can see that we have opportunity to change the format and columns of this table. So we can, like by default, we use the table output format, what we can use CSV and so on. But what is interesting here, we can use this example here, and if we run it, we will see this table with additional 2 columns, which will state if the snapshot was taken with this option live. It is false in our case, and also the commit ID. If you want to get more detailed information about the snapshot, you can use the option snapshot get, and if we do not specify any ID of a backup, this will mean that this will take the latest backup on this environment. We have some couple of fields like created, updated, which environment, commit, and so on. Let's run the help option, and as you can see, there is nothing interesting. We just simply specify the ID of a snapshot, or we cannot, or we don't specify a snapshot ID. This will take the recent one, as I already mentioned. And if we want to create a snapshot, we can use the snapshot create command. Let's firstly use the help option. And here you can see that we simply specify the argument environment, so which environment we want to backup. Then as options, there is this live option. So by default, it is set to no, but if you set this to yes, this will mean basically there is this help information that if set, this leaves the environment running and open to connections during the backup. This reduces downtime at the risk of backing up data in an inconsistent state. So this is basically what we already know. So let's right now create a backup with this option live. We can also specify no wait. As you can see in this example, this will mean that our shell will not be connected to the output of this particular activity. So let's put this option, and we see there is information creating a live snapshot of develop. And let's now switch to our browser, and we should see there is a new activity being run right now, saying that it's creating backup of develop. We can see view logs, and there is nothing interesting here. And as you can see, this backup is already done with only 30 seconds. The backup without the live option took 4 minutes because it needed to stop the environment, start it again, start services, and so on. So this option is actually faster, and it's faster a lot. So how we can restore a backup right now? So we can select the backup from this activity list. So for example, let's go to all activities. We can use this icon to filter by only backups, and this is a list of backup activities. And if we, for example, use this last activity, we can click on those 3 dots and click on the restore option, and we simply can confirm that yes, we want to restore or not. Also, as you can see, there is no button to get to this view with backups that we were recently. I am not sure, maybe this will be added later, but for now, to see this view, you need to just specify backups after the environment's name. And we are in the backups view, so we have ID of like 2 IDs of the latest backups and history. So we can also go here and select the restore or delete option. And if you are talking about restoring a backup from Magento Cloud CLI, we can use the restore option. Firstly, let's specify the help option. So there is basically nothing interesting as in those other commands. We simply can use the Magento Cloud Snapshot Restored to restore the most recent snapshot, or you can specify the ID of the snapshot that you want to restore. So let's actually do it. Let's put this Magento Cloud Snapshot Restore, so we will just take the latest snapshot. We need to confirm that we want to restore this snapshot with this ID from this date to environment develop. Yes, we want. And this will take some time. We will not wait for it, but if we get back to browser, we should see that this new activity with restoring is being processed. So we also can check logs. There is restoring from backup, preparing deployment, closing all services. So this will take some time. Alright, so our develop environment is being restored and we can focus on automatic backups of our infrastructure as a service environments. These kind of backups are, as the name suggests, automatic and done regularly with the live option, so our environments are not stopped during the backup. Additionally, these backups are designed for catastrophic failure scenarios, so this is not something that happens very often. But of course, in case of such situation, we need to be aware of possible options and ways to resolve the issue. Backups, I would say, are our last resort in case we cannot fix the issue in different way. Backups of infrastructure as a service environments, also like snapshots, includes all persistent data from running services, MySQL databases and so on, and any files stored on the mounted volumes, and of course no code, because code is stored in a Git repository, so there is no need to actually have a code inside of this backup. Automatic backups are saved to encrypted elastic block storage in the same region as the production staging environment, and that's why backups are not publicly accessible, because they are stored in a separate system. It is not possible to create a manual backup. There is no such option in Cloud Console, so if you actually select production or staging environment, you won't be able to find anywhere the backup button as we saw in the integration environment. And also, if you try to use the snapshot create command from the Magento Cloud CLI, you will simply get an error saying that this operation is not allowed. That's why the only option you have is to manually backup database, and this can be done at any time you require it. When it comes to frequency of backups, it all depends on your plan's schedule and the volume of changes to write to the storage service. Additionally, Adobe has a retention policy of keeping old backups, but I won't cover it as this can vary depending on your plan. I hope you won't need it, but in case something happened and your only option is restoring a backup, you can't do that manually. You must submit a ticket to Adobe support with a request to restore your environment to the specified in the ticket point in time. And as you already know, production and staging environment are run in infrastructure as a service, where Adobe uses redundant architecture with 3 instances that all accept reads and writes, hence allowing to quickly upscale or upgrade the capacity without disturbing any services. Also, if you expect a significant increase in traffic for any event or other reason, you can simply request a temporary increase in capacity. Alright, so I believe that would be all for this video, and as you can see, Adobe Commerce Cloud has it all covered, and that is one of the reasons why I love it. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.